The Bazaar has a pretty decent launch into closed beta, but it's not been without its issues, so I want to cover those and the changes that are coming soon right now.
You should know. I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago.
Hello, I'm Artificer Greg, and I just want to quickly go over some of the issues we've been experiencing during the beta so far, and what's coming, and maybe what I hope to come in terms of fixes. First and foremost, we have the server issues. Since right at the beginning, day one, NA and EU, all servers basically were very, very overloaded. The game was nigh unplayable. Every time you tried to click on a PvP encounter, the game would completely lock out. There were many, many, many disconnects. Of course, this being an async auto battler, disconnects aren't the end of the world because you can just immediately go back to where you were. But the server connection was very, very unstable. You're being disconnected an awful lot. PvP encounters are very hard to get into, and even regular encounters that generate a lot of tokens were causing a lot of stress. So anything that generated a bunch of chocolate bars or spare change, just moving stuff around in your shop, it was sometimes very, very difficult and pretty difficult to play. Most of those issues were resolved for the American servers and maybe some other servers, but the European servers continue to be a problem. Chests and ticket rewards have been notoriously difficult to collect in those early days from all servers, but now Europe still is really, really difficult. I have had, I don't know, I think 10 win runs in casual, and only once have I gotten the ticket. And the same in ranked. I've had a bunch of 10 win runs there, and only a couple of times have I ever been credited with the chest. So it's very, very flaky, but hopefully the fixes for that are coming soon. Reynad let us know in the main Bazaar Discord that on Monday, so as of the time of recording, that is tomorrow, they are applying a bunch of fixes. They hope by end of day Monday to have fixed all the server issues. One of the main problems of this was just Europe was far more popular, or the European servers were far more popular than they expected. And that's been very evident. If you go on Twitch during European hours, there are a lot of people playing and streaming the Bazaar. So, I mean, thank you to everyone who's come along to our streams as well, twitch.tv/RTFCR. We've been doing a bunch over there. But yeah, Europe was far more popular than they imagined. They are putting server fixes in place by end of day Monday. And once they're there, and once chests are being more frequently actually received by players, then they're going to give everyone a bunch of chests as a bit of a sorry for the server instability as the game got launched. The second issue, and one that would persist beyond server problems, is the meta. The Bazaar was designed in such a way that metas shouldn't happen. There should be enough variance of items and encounters that you cannot force builds, because if you can't force a build, then there isn't really a strict meta. You can force synergies, and there can be archetypes that are stronger than others, but that crazy build that one-shots everything in half a second and does tens and tens and tens of thousands of shield and damage, those things shouldn't be possible regularly, but sadly that is happening at the moment. This is largely happening because at the moment we have a lack of encounters and items. A great example at the moment is if with Vanessa you go to the vehicle merchant. With any merchant, you get shown 3 options, and then you can refresh for 3 more. Vanessa only has 4 vehicles, so you can guarantee get the exact vehicle you want from that vendor, and there's a high chance you can get it without rerolling too. So as soon as we add more items to more of the vendors, and more vendors in general, you should have far fewer options of forcing builds and be able to get exactly what you need every single time without issue. Now the big 3 that are a problem are Vanessa Crit, usually with daggers, but can be with other things, Pygmalion Scrapers, and Vanessa Dam Build. I'm sure you guys have run into these. They are plaguing ranked servers, and they're even making their way into casual servers as well, and making your casual runs a little bit difficult towards the end of the run. On top of this, Pygmalion Scraper builds are actually bugged as well. I believe it's the stained glass window item that is somehow doubling the effectiveness of the value of their items, which is then skyrocketing its potential. So a bug as well as a strong build that can be forced is causing a lot of issues there. Now with almost all of these things, they didn't exist in the alpha or the friends and family that we just played or played before that. These are all things that have been introduced right now for the closed beta, untested, and have proven to be unbalanced. And that's something that happens. Remember, we are in a beta, guys. This is not the full release game. This is not what Tempo are laying down to the world and saying, hey, pay attention to us. Our game is perfect. They're saying, hey, pay attention to us. We've got a good groundwork, like a really good looking game that can really provide some incredible runs, but it's not polished beyond perfection just yet. That's what they're still working to do. As I said, the things that are broken at the moment did not exist before. Destroy was not a mechanic until the beta. The issue with Pygmalion's scrapers, the broken or bugged stained glass window, that was bugged in an entirely different way in the alpha test. So that's been broken again and in a different way. And the Vanessa crit and the Vanessa crit daggers did something entirely different. The daggers would gain damage every time you crit, I believe, might have been what they used to do. So they didn't have a need for an internal cooldown. So now they're just triggering themselves and going crazy and insta-killing everyone. However, balance changes are also coming on Monday, tomorrow, as of recording this, and they have suggested that they're going to be getting rid of some of the most powerful builds. Now, I would like to see a lot of reversions. The top reversions for the main three, the pig scraper builds. First of all, fix stained glass window so it doesn't break it. But second of all, the scrapers, skyscraper, land scraper, subscraper, space scraper, skyscraper, all of the scrapers. They used to do at most triple value, and they've been up to quad, if not quintuple value for the beta. I can see them just being reverted. There are plenty of tools to get your value up as Pygmalion. I think those builds will be in a much better spot if they are reduced down to triple value. They do not need to be at the astronomical heights that they are. With Vanessa dagger builds, add the internal cooldown back in that is there with every other item. If you look at things like Chemsnail or Pufferfish, they have this sort of server tick, or what I call a server tick. Basically every 0.25 seconds, something that is going to go infinite can only trigger that often. So you will get all of your dagger triggers out, but the fastest they can happen is once every 0.25 seconds. And what that basically does is it allows other builds to actually cast their items rather than insta-killing them the second you go off and not being able to play at all. And then last but not least, with the dam builds, a couple of changes here, and again, these are just reversions I would like to see. The dam used to be a completely different item. It used to be a 1 ammo freeze item that had a 40-second cooldown, and like what it does now, when you use an aquatic item, it would charge. I would very much like to see its 40-second cooldown back, so that yes, you can use a dam build, but it's incredibly, or not incredibly, but a lot harder to get it there, and I would actually double whammy that, not a pun, but that is a Bazaar item, with a shipwreck nerf, i.e. bringing it back to what it used to be when I last played the game. Shipwreck was a diamond-only item that did 1 extra multicast on aquatic items. Now, I can see it being a diamond-only item with 2. That's something I wouldn't hate, but I don't think we should be able to get it a gold for 1, and diamond for 2 is very strong. I would very much like to see it at diamond for 1. So those are all the things that are broken, that were completely untested. We've tested them and we've decided they're broken. They're all going to be hopefully getting patched out as of tomorrow, and the servers should also be looking a lot better. So I will see you next week for a lot more Bazaar and hopefully a bunch more chests. For more news, guides and gameplay, you know what to do.